What's going on, everyone? NoZoupForYou here, and you are watching some Ohio gameplay that was submitted to me by none other than NightrodGreg, a friend of mine, my former first-line leader in the reserves, and now a World of Warships player. You've probably seen him before if you've caught any of my streams. I usually stream with him and Chuck, aka Captain Sappy. That name was chosen for him by a follower during an auction to raise money for a good charity. Anyhow, he has sent me this video on the Ohio called a USS Ohio instructional video. Now, he's not doing it to be nice to me, so to speak. He's doing this because he knows my current antipathy towards the USS Ohio. And he's doing it to kind of mock me as well. So the choice came down for me to purchase a ship with my armory points. And obviously it came down to the Ohio or the Colbert. And against my better judgment, I chose the Ohio. Really didn't want to, but Greg kind of prodded me on. Said it's a great ship. We can run it in duos during streams and everything else, and we'll have lots of fun and everything else. And me remembering the Ohio from testing and how I did in it, said, okay, I'll get it. And I have done horrible in it ever since, which is quite bizarre because I know it's a good ship. I know it's a great ship. In fact, during testing, I did really, really good in it. I had some killer rounds in it. And for some reason, at this point, I just can't have those rounds anymore. I don't know what it is. It's like the guns do not work for me. I can't explain it. I'm sure you all have those ships out there where, you know, they're good ships. You know they're good ships. And for some reason, you can't get those good ships to work. There's just something going on where your aim is just not in the right place, or you just can't make it work. And that is the current situation with me and the Ohio. That is our relationship. It is fighting against me tooth and nail. It does not want me to do good in it. In fact, I don't think I've had a single round as of late in the Ohio that's been over 150,000 damage. Which is why I'm showing a video of his, a replay of his, instead of one of mine. Because all of mine suck. Badly. And this is his chance to gloat and also to kind of show his stuff off to the community. Which, you know what, I'll oblige him on it. Because he did have a fantastic round right now that I'm showing you. And it is worth watching because it does highlight what you can do in the Ohio. And it is somewhat an instructional video. So I will kind of stroke his ego right now and tell you that, yes, this is a good video to watch if you want to know how to get good or play the Ohio good. You're not going to get that from me, though, because I can't play it good right now. I play it horribly, and I'm still trying to figure out why. Now, NightrodGreg here, he's actually a tanker. Well, that's what he used to be in the Army. He no longer is. He sits behind a desk, kind of like me, and, well, actually, I really don't know what he does anymore, ever since I left the unit that we all shared together. But, you know, I give him a couple breaks, because being a tanker, I know that he's not really on the apex side of things. He's not the sharpest tool in the drawer. You know, those tank guys are, they are what they are. They're not that bright. I'm kidding. I love tankers. I mean, I know quite a few of them. Greg's one of them, and you all, I'm sure, are familiar with the Chieftain. He's another one of those tanker guys. They're a little bit on the crazy side too, and little bit of trivia, I guess, history during Operation Iraqi Freedom. A lot of them were pulled out from tanker duties and kind of did infantry duties, going door to door. So they've had an interesting role over the past, I guess, 2 decades now. It's been that long. Now, granted, I think they've gone back to their more traditional role, but during the height of Operation Iraqi Freedom, yeah, tankers, that whole series, they were going door to door just like infantrymen, and that's how pressed the infantry was back then. That's how, I guess, I don't want to say desperate, but that's how bad things got in the Army. We had to use tankers, Abrams drivers, to go knock and pound on doors and clear houses, which would suck if you're a tanker and you're expecting to go into battle driving probably one of the safest pieces of equipment we have in the Army, and all of a sudden you're stripped of all safety and you're just going door to door. Anyhow, so far Greg is having a pretty good round. We're we're 7 minutes in, and he's already got 50,000 damage, and that's going to get a little better here in the future. It's going to change for the better. He's going to find his stride, and he's starting to right now. There's a nice little citadel on that Montana, and he's shooting planes down left and right, highlighting some of the many attributes that the Ohio has and the things that the Ohio can do. I do want to touch on something else, though, while we're watching this video, and it's kind of appropriate because this is a Tier 10 battle. There was a post on Facebook I saw this past weekend, and a player was lamenting the fact that they had to play through the Bairn. And they said, hey, should I just free XP past it? I'm tired of the Bairn, and, you know, is the Gneisenau now worth it? And, you know, I kind of looked at the comments, and, ooh, Greg whiffed right there. You can't hit him every time. I'm kidding. There's no reason for me to give him a hard time. And that happens. You know, I kind of looked at the comments, and people were saying what they will. And, you know, there's the inevitable never free XP, tech tree ship, save it for everything else. So I decided to throw my own little bit of coaching and my own 2 cents in there on this individual and said, don't free XP it. In fact, take your lumps in it. Take your lumps in that ship, because overall it's going to make you a better player. And I think that, yeah, it does make you a better player. So for all those out there that aren't at tier 10 yet, you're working your way up the tech trees and you're getting slaughtered by higher tiers, my advice to you is, yeah, I know it sucks. It's not fun at all. But overall, it does make you a better player, because when you're forced to play against better ships of higher tiers, it really forces you to use things to your advantage, like terrain, when to shoot, when not to shoot. So if you want to become a better player, you should be excited to get in those matches. I know when I'm in a tier 8 and I get into a tier 10 battle, there's that first little collective groan, which is like, oh man. But then I get excited, because there's certain ships that I know that I'm going to do good. Oh, boom. Look at that. Nice shot, Greg. Well done. And that was very, very impolite, but now he's up to 136,000 damage. Still only has one sunken ship, but that'll change as well. But yeah, there's ships that I know I play well in. I mean, there's those Massachusettses and, you know, destroyers, tier 8 destroyers. While they are sometimes handicapped, I can still hold my own in them, even in tier 10 battles. So when I get in a round that is just straight tier 10 and I'm like in a tier 8, I'm excited. I'm excited because it gives me a chance to show everyone that, hey, that one tier 8 in the battle topped the leaderboard, and I love seeing that happen. Nothing makes me more thrilled. That's one of the biggest points of enjoyment in this game, being able to adapt and overcome and, you know, top the leaderboard in a ship that most people are probably looking at it and saying, hey, this ship's going to hold us back. So I know it's not the easiest thing to do for everyone, but yeah, you know, if you don't like it, don't free XP. Use it as a way to get better. And there's the Confederate right there. So yeah, Greg's having a really good game. Is he going to miss these torps? Oh, can he thread the knee? Oh my, no. He ate one. But you know what? Those are Osterjotland torps, and they're not that strong. So it's not going to hurt him that much. He's now up to 2 kills and 144,000 damage. So this game does present you with a lot of opportunities to get better, to learn, and that's just one of many of them. Being that bottom tier ship, especially in a ship that you're not familiar with, a ship that you might not like, that is an opportunity to make yourself a better player by using terrain properly, by being clever in how you fire at enemies and everything else. And there's a small citadel right there, but a citadel nonetheless, and now Greg has 3 kills. Almost at 150,000 damage, and he's going to focus on this Zao right now. Still has a lot of health left, huge hit pool, which is good. Close round so far. I mean, they don't have an enormous lead. Ships are even at the moment, and he's going to try and skirt away from these midway torps, which he's running into the risk of turning into one, and he does. And that's the problem with these giant lumbering walrus ships. It's very easy to overturn, and when you're in a smaller ship, you'll steer clear of torps. But in these, it's very easy to steer into the torp, just because you can't correct quickly enough. And that's one thing to keep in mind if you're new to high-tier battleships. It takes time. It takes time to get them turning. So you got to think about where you're going in advance. Now, he's going to turn in towards B. Probably a good idea, because it looks like that's where the majority of the action has moved on to. B is in a current battle right now with his team and the other team. You can see it was almost green, and now it's inching red. And he's going to move in there. A little bit of a hit right there from their aircraft carrier. But he's going to down some more planes. And he's only, well, I say only, he's only down 14 now. And 3 with his fighters, so not bad at all. And look what he's caught broadside. This Montana's not in a good place. He's not going to waste any time. He's just firing right away. And there's one Citadel. Secondary is firing, popping off, and there it is. Montana is destroyed. He's got 3 kills now, and he is pushing right into 200,000 damage, and he's decided instead of pushing straight, he's going to veer to the right now. Might not be a horrible idea, given what's going on. Going to get the high caliber right there as well. Citadel's going to finish off that Cleveland, and with that, he now has a Kraken. So he's got the Kraken, he's got the high caliber, and he's got the Confederate. So already he's got the trifecta. I mean, that alone makes this a hell of a round. But he's not done either. He's at 215,000 damage. There's still some fight left in him. Now, the round does look like it's veering more towards their team, which is good. But yeah, the Ohio, it's a great battleship. And, you know, while I say I regret picking it over the Colbert, I mean, that's like saying I wish I had $100 in 20s instead of 10s. I don't know. That's the analogy I came on the fly right now. You know, I guess it kind of makes sense what I said right there. They're both good ships, and in fact, I think most people would argue that the Ohio is a better ship, just because the Colbert is pretty much a floating citadel, and if you're not on point in that ship, you're going to get sunk fairly easy. I actually like the Colbert a lot because it does offer a different style of gameplay. I do love living dangerously in it. So there are aspects I enjoy about that. It's definitely not the safe ship of the two, obviously. So if you're in the market for one or the other, just keep that in mind. And maybe, you know, this round by Greg right here is going to persuade you that if you get a ship, go ahead and get the Ohio. I mean, he's already done 220,000 damage. And I will say it's interesting because when Greg and I met in my unit, he didn't play World of Warships. He had played World of Tanks, though. And then he found out that as a community contributor and everything, he started playing World of Warships. And now he's played more battles than I have. And you know what? I'm just going to come out and admit it. While I helped him in the early stages of him learning this game, he watched some of my videos and I taught him as good as I could. It didn't take him long. And I can say safely that at this point at least, he's a better player than I am. And it's kind of always a cool feeling where, you know, the student becomes the master. And he'll probably disagree about being the student in that part. But, yeah, in the beginning, he had to learn somehow. And now he's just really good at the game. And he could probably be a hell of a lot better if he played with better players than me in divisions and everything. So if you're a good player looking to excel as well, you know, hit him up maybe and, you know, find a div mate that wins a lot and does good. And yeah, I mean, he's always topping the leaderboard. It's always a fight when we stream to come on top. It's either going to be him or me and, you know, once in a blue moon Chuck. But that's why I enjoy streaming with them too. It's all about kicking back and relaxing. He's going to turn in on B right now. He's going to try and get some more kills. This Monarch is not in a good place. Not the ship that wants to be going up against an Ohio. But he's going to push in on it. Secondaries firing off. And that's the other good thing about the Ohio. I do love the secondaries on the Ohio. It's nice having secondaries on a U.S. battleship. And I'll be honest, I'm a little disappointed that the line that was announced is not a secondary line. I was really hoping for that secondary line But I guess it is what it is. And you can hope and dream and wish. But instead we just got slow ships with big guns. And that is what it is. He's having a little bit of trouble with this Monarch right now, though. Trying to find that sweet spot. And look at that, AA defense expert. You don't see those too often. Oh, probably because he shot down double what he did right there. 32 planes now. 240,000 damage also. He's got 2 devastating strikes. I mean, the achievements just keep piling up on this round. I'd have to say this is a great round right here. Set the Monarch on fire. I was kind of hoping he'd peg it through the nose, but, you know, it's all cool. This Monarch's not going to be around that long. And unfortunately, he doesn't get the kill. Mr. Rune back there, Kai 968, sweeps in with the keel secure. The keel. Said that kind of like Forged in Fire right there. Keel. And Greg's not going to get that. But I'm sure he's fine with that, because this Zao has presented itself a lovely target. And he just took a giant 14,000 chunk off of it right there. And this round is closing down right now. 267,000 damage. He can get 335 more right now if he can sink this Zao, which is presenting itself a lovely broadside. And guess what? He does sink it. He is going to get it. Although the only problem is right now, well, yeah, he's got half his health. However, these torps are going to hurt him pretty badly, which they do, and he's bleeding hit points at this point. This is going to make him an easy target for the Midway. He's going to try and stay alive because he senses that that aircraft carrier is somewhere close to him. You can see the planes are taking off only 7 clicks out, but I don't know that there's much he can do right now. I mean, he's got no more heals. His flooding stopped with... well, look at that. He's got 1 hit point left. If he could pull this off with 1 hit point and take out that ship, I don't know. That'd be something else. He shot down 5 planes right there. 8 planes. I mean, he shot down 37 today. Incredible. That Midway is 6 clicks out, but it's not going to work out for him. He's got his fighters in the air, his attack craft, and there's no way he's going to be able to repel these. And, well, he's doing his best. Shot down 2 of them. This is a hell of a round. And Greg, I got to give it to you. This was a great round. Definitely an instructional video on how to play the Ohio. 267,554 damage. 2 devastating strikes, a Confederate, high caliber, air defense, and a Kraken. I mean, it really rarely gets much better than that. So, hell of a round right there. And for those of you out there, once again, struggling when you're bottom tiered, slug through it. It'll make you a better player. It's going to do it for me. I'm going to show Greg's overall stats right here. He did send those to me as well. So I'd be remiss if I didn't include those, because it was such a very, very good round. Guys, thanks for coming out. Thanks for watching. I do appreciate everything. You all have been wonderful. Hopefully we can get out there, stream again soon with NightrodGreg, Captain Sappy, and the crew. And they're going to win on time. And that's going to do it. Catch you all later. Zoop out.